If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Moving back to the offensive side of the ball, and this is a good thing, you don't have to worry about contract negotiations, so you can just chat. Quarterback position. Joe Linta came out and said he thinks if winning matters, Joe Flacco's a top 5 quarterback, and he should be paid that way. Do you look at Joe Flacco and say he's a top 5 type of quarterback?
I think my expectations is that Joe Flacco will be the #1 quarterback for the next 5 years. I mean, that's what a coach does, and that's what Joe looks at it. And as far as who gets paid what, that has a lot more to do with market than it has to do with any kind of an argument that they made or any kind of a label that we put on guys. Yeah, we're planning on Joe being the best quarterback in the league, for the next 5 years. Right. And we do that, we'll win a few championships, and we'll all be celebrating, Super Bowl parties after games. Nestor, I've seen you in action.
I know.
So that's the goal. The contract, that's Joe, and we're not going to do anything publicly, but I think Joe's doing his job. Joe Linta loves Joe Flacco, and he should. But we'll get a deal. I mean, it'd be a great deal for Joe.
As you are shopping here this weekend, if you will, as you're just sort of looking at everything, what can you do right now to maybe improve Joe, and what can you do to help him this weekend?
Well, you know what? Well, as far as this weekend,
or just in general, I guess it's all.
Yeah, well, Jim Caldwell's a big part of that. And I think Cameron. We talk a lot about that. I really believe in the relationship. I really believe that those two guys are in really a great place, football-wise, and personally, I think they've always been fine. It's more football than it is anything. Between coaches and players, and the personal part of it's always there because we're around each other so much. But Jim Caldwell's going to really be able to focus on fundamentals and technique, and he's done it before, and give Cam a chance now to be more involved in the offense, but he'll still be involved with Joe. So Joe, like any of our players, is going to continue to improve, and he's going to hit that. I think he's going to hit his it's going to kind of be an acceleration time right now. If you look historically, this is when quarterbacks really get good. And we can put better players around him. Continue to put our guys playing better and better players. You lose guys, maybe try to improve, and that's what we try to do every single year. So we try to keep doing that. We've got to look at our offensive line. We've got a running back situation. We've got to keep growing the tight ends. We've got to keep growing the young wide receivers. Maybe add another one of those guys. So we're looking at all that stuff.
It's certainly a pride, and this is the funny part about it, is we all want to get answers on each of these individual things. But as you mentioned before, it's going to be once this gets into place, so maybe this will decide if we can do something over here. And this decides that. We all want the big picture. The big picture for this team is you're doing all this saying we were a catch or a field goal away from the Super Bowl right now. So you have to look at it as, I'm assuming, it's not broke.
Oh yeah, well I think we told our team this, we're not going anywhere. The Ravens aren't going to disappear. There's no window that's closing. It's not. Time is not about to pass. That's not happening. We're built for the long haul. And what happens from one year to the next happens from one year to the next. The ball bounces, and injuries, or guys develop and have great games. The guys make plays. I mean, it's going to be really hard to get back to that same moment in time where the ball is thrown into the end zone for the winning catch that takes us to the Super Bowl. We're not going to just jump back into that same place. We're going to do a lot of hard work, a lot of great decisions are going to go into getting us back to that place. But there's no reason we can't get there, and we plan on getting there.
I love when a coach talks like that. Gets me all fired up.
Right,
Let's go play.
I just can't imagine this if this conversation was happening after a Super Bowl wins. If you were just showing a ring, maybe at this point, you just put your hand up on the desk. I don't know if you guys wanted to see this. You know what I mean? I just can't imagine how much fun that conversation. I'm not saying this isn't fun, but how much more fun that conversation.
You're more fun in the off season. I like you better today.
You don't ask me those questions, those crazy questions you ask me.
I don't ask you any crazy questions. I don't ask you anything because you don't answer stuff in the season. Why the hell would I ask you
playing on Sunday? Who's hurt?
We don't have to ask you that this week.
Give that away.
All right, so here this weekend you got you're the head coach. You're not making the picks. You're a part of the process. What's the most important stuff you learn when you're out here? When you talk to players, and what are you looking for when you sit in these interviews and when you're watching guys run 40 times? What's the most important thing to John?
Well, the most important thing is how they play. To me, that's the number one thing. You watch
the film.
The film. That's the main thing. I want a certain kind of player, the way they play. You want the best players you can get. That's the number one thing. The next thing is what kind of people they are. Are they going to be good teammates? Are they going to work hard? Are they going to compete? It's hard to be in our system. It's hard to play like a Raven. It's not a cliche. It's a culture. It's a way of life around our place. You guys know that. So we got to get guys that can handle our program. They're going to earn the respect of the guys in that locker room. That are going to play the way they expect them to play, that we expect them to play. So I think those are the two main things. So you talk to them, you watch the way they play. If they play hard, they got a chance. If the guy didn't play hard on tape, and he doesn't have much of a chance.
That is the red flag then.
You don't play hard on tape, you're probably not going to be in Baltimore. Then, you have some issues that we can deal with some character things, but not all character issues are created the same.
Sure.
So there are some red flags that we just we don't like character-wise either, but we like guys who play hard.
Yeah, and when someone comes to you and says, John, here's the other thing, this medical screening didn't come up the right way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you don't worry about that. We just let the doctors take care of that.
Right, and just say, okay, I believe you.
Exactly.
Right, I don't know. No doubt. So give me an idea, the next couple of weeks for you. What's the... Yeah, you don't have to be negotiating with anyone.
Right.
What is your life like?
The main thing is grinding tape on the draft. They do a great job. Our video guys, John Dubay, and those guys do a great job of setting me up. So I've got like an office here at the hotel, got all the tape in there. So I'm working on offensive linemen while I'm here as far as the tape study, and then watching these workouts. Watch the kickers today, watch the offensive linemen tomorrow morning, quarterbacks and receivers, tight ends in the afternoon. Then go back, watch more tape, and then we got the night interviews. We'll have 6 to I think 10 tonight. We'll have straight through interviews. We'll have that every night through Sunday night. So get a chance to meet some of these guys.
I have to ask, because somebody's going to be mad at me if I don't. Are you interested in the kickers that are here this weekend?
No. Yeah.
There we go.
That's a quick answer.
I just had to ask if somebody.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.